There you go. Now my microphone is working. Good morning, good morning. How's it going, guys? Nice to have you with me this morning. It's going to be a nice, beautiful, sunny day here in Muskoka. Gorgeous, gorgeous outside. Sun is coming up. Thank the heavens. We could use some sunshine today. Been a lot of gray skies up here in Muskoka. Lots of gray skies. So, wowzers, big move yesterday. I had to head out. Um, but as I was leaving the house, I was looking at the markets and I saw that there was some big moves coming. And it was spurred on by the cut in rates. Previous 4.75, now they're down to 4.5. We've been talking about the rates being cut for quite some time, so this doesn't come as any surprise to us. And what was the market's reaction? It's exactly what I always say to you, right? Whatever was going to happen before the news is always going to happen after the news. It's just like that, okay? Because the news is only going to help to facilitate the moves that were going to take place anyways. And so um, that's exactly what we got yesterday. You know, we've been talking about gold. We've been talking about how gold was set to drop. And if you've been following our analysis that we've been doing on the CFTC data, you would know that we could see the profit taking in long positions, and that was going to help fuel a move to the downside, right? So if you've been watching those videos and if you've been watching our live sessions that we've been doing, you would know that we were laying all this out for you before it even took place. So if you have been following us and you have been watching our live sessions, good on you. You were prepared, you were expecting the move, and it did not come as a shock to you. So I'm glad that you joined me in these morning sessions because this is one of the best ways you can prevent yourself from being on the wrong side of the market. And one of the best ways of being informed on what's really taking place in these markets. Okay. So we had the news come out yesterday, and they decided to cut rates a bit, which I'm not too surprised about. They've been doing it in Canada as well. They went way overboard, and now they're just trimming back. So we see the great drop in gold to the downside, really aggressive move. And again, that's because of profit taking from their positions. Let me bring up my pen here. Here we go. Beautiful. And let me also Um, so yeah, so we were expecting that, no shock there. If we look at CFTC data, let's just bring this up for you here. Here is where the majority of their long positions were sitting at back in October. Okay, we had 387. We went down as far as 366 before a really aggressive, some really aggressive profit taking, bringing it all the way down to 303,000. Okay, and then as you can see, positions increase up to 324. Why is that? Well, because you got the rally up in price. Okay, so they increase long positions again to get price up there, and then the big sell off. Okay, so the drop was to be expected. We were not surprised by that. And also, I posted a chart on silver. If you guys are in the Telegram channel, which you should be, if you're not, I don't know why, but you should get your butt on there. There's a link on the bottom in our description how to access our Telegram channel, because I posted a chart of silver saying that this is it's giving everything, all the evidence is pointing that it's going to go down. Okay, I also posted a trade on my Instagram page, so if you want to check that out, Forex underscore guy, Forex guy Forex underscore guy on Instagram. Go check that out. You'll see the trade and how it's playing out. It was also giving us clear indication that price was going to be dropping. Okay. If you look at the weekly chart, this is what we had. Okay. We had a weekly uptrend here, right here. Okay. And price was starting to make its move down. You could see it, right? And so when you have an ascending trend line and price sitting at that trend line, when the move comes to break that trend line, it's big. As you can see, look at the big move, okay? Now, one thing I will point out is that price is dropping down and it's coming towards this area of demand. So I'm going to be watching to see what takes place there, because we could see price stall out and might even see a short-term momentum shift to the upside. So I'll be watching for that. But if that zone gets taken out, boy oh boy, this can go down back to the 26 area before we see some kind of a move up. And I wouldn't be surprised at that, because if we look at gold, we go back to gold. Remember what I was telling you about on the monthly time frame, okay? On the monthly time frame, we hadn't yet hit this area. This is the significant area of buying. This is the last time where the banks came in with significant buying, all right? So if you want to be a buyer of gold, you don't buy when they're in the process of taking profits on long positions, okay? I've said this numerous times, and the reason why I keep repeating myself is because I want you guys to understand you got to follow what the banks are doing, right? I know there's a lot of material out there telling you, oh, the market is bulls and bears. You know, there's some people who are bullish, some people who are bearish, and that's what controls the market, and that's what makes the market move. You could think that if you want to. I'm telling you and showing you something different, okay? I hope you're seeing this, all right? The banks are taking profits on long positions. How would have buying worked out for you if you bought gold in the last several weeks? How would that have worked out for you? Huh? After this drop, how would you be feeling right about now? Pretty good about your purchase? Not really. You don't want to be going long gold, all right? Not when the banks are taking profits on their long positions. Don't be the schmuck who takes the long positions from them, okay? That's what they want you to do, but don't be that. You got to look at where the banks were last interested in buying, and it's down here, okay? $2,500 area and below it. So I would not be a buyer unless price got down there, and not just, got down there, but I'd also want to see proof that they're interested in buying again. And at this point, there's no proof of that. Like I said, if you were looking at the CFTC data and you're like, oh, but there is proof because they're buying here, you have to put it into context. Put everything into context, and that's what I teach here at the school, is how to read the data and put it into its proper context so that you don't misinterpret what you're seeing. So yes, they were increasing longs, but that was only to get price back up to the highs again. The next few weeks data, when it's released, you'll see the numbers are going to be lower, okay? I can already tell you that. I can tell you that before it actually happens, okay? I do this all the time. I could forecast what the numbers will be, whether higher or lower, based on looking at the supply and demand dynamics on the charts, seeing what's taking place, and putting it into its proper context. So everything is spelling that there's going to be a bigger move to the downside. And this is why we've been bearish euro and bearish pound, is because all these things put together were telling us that this drop was going to be coming, okay? We're also bullish the dollar. If you remember, we've been talking about the dollar going higher, dollar pairs becoming stronger. And so this is what we had. We had a big rally up in price in the dollar index. Looks like we contacted some supply here on the smaller time frame. But if you look at US CAD, for instance, US CAD, boy oh boy, I would not want to be short US CAD. I was short at one point. I speculated on a supply area holding because everything was in line for that. If we look at retail positions and the banks, they were aggressive with their shorts back here, okay? Now, did they reach maximum size at 219? No, they were close to it. And not all the time do they reach their maximum position before they sell off. Sometimes they have to go to their max. Sometimes they have to surpass their max. I can't predict which one it's going to be, but I take the odds, I look at the supply and demand dynamics, and I trade off of that. So we took a short trade, and that one didn't work out. We started in with an initial position, not too big because, there was factors that were keeping us from going in full throttle. And so we took a small loss and it was no big deal. But let's take a look at sentiment. Let's take a look at the sentiment here and see, because I saw you guys posting in the Telegram channel the positions held by retail. Let's see where they're at right now. Right now, retail are at 82% short, 17,000 lots. So the percentages are down. Oops. Percentages are down, but what did I say? 82, 17.8. But the numbers are bigger. Okay, huge. They're super underwater. And let's take a look at what's going on here. Wow, look at that. Look at our supply area. Hit to a T. Look at that. Like to the pip. Isn't that crazy? We've had this supply in area drawn in for quite some time. Okay. The original spot of this supply is here. Massive drop took place from there. Massive drop. So this could be the spot for a potential reversal. Potentially. Potentially. We could see a little bit of a drop here. Hard to say. Hard to say. I think overall what's setting up here is a bigger move to the upside. Okay. It's become pretty clear. That's what I'm seeing. Things are setting up for a bigger move to the upside. I think 150 is in the future for the US CAD. A buck 50 is what's coming. All the supply and demand dynamics are telling me that they're dismantling supply areas and they're constructing demand areas. Okay, so they're building forts, they're building bases as they're you know entering into enemy territory. They keep on taking over castles and bringing in supplies, bringing in munitions, and so they're setting up shop and creating a situation where it's very evident that they're going to keep encroaching. So they're heading north. 150 is what I'm seeing. So with that said, um, expecting the euro to follow suit with its move to the downside. Let's take a quick look at the euro. Yeah, listen, the last area that was contacted was supply. Okay. Um, so this is institutional selling here, causing price to drop. If we look at the pound, it's the same thing. We had a nice drop. Okay, so overall, we're expecting weakness. I'm expecting the pound to go even further to the downside, and there's going to be trade setups here. All right, I'll share it with members when the time is right. Um, but definitely over time, I'm expecting the pound to be dropping. US dollar, Japanese yen, also look at that, okay? Now, I posted for members when price was, I think here, okay? When price was here, yeah, price was around here. I told members, I said, look, this area here is where the banks are accumulating a long position. They will take it to about here, and then we'll likely see them start profit taking on that long position. Okay? This is what I told them. I drew it out, showed it to them live, and said, this is what I'm suspecting. And let's take a look what happened. Okay? Boom. Look at that. We're already there. Okay, it happened sooner than I had expected, but look at that move. I mean, that's just crazy, right? That is just crazy. But it's not really crazy because when you understand the supply and demand dynamics and you look at the CFTC data and you put the two together, it gives you a clear picture. You know, we've forecasted so many of these moves. It's crazy. Um, it's just unbelievable. So so what's next? Well, we're back at that area of supply on the weekly chart. Now we're testing a little bit deeper than the previous test. But look, these supply and demand zones, we've had them for, you know, before price even, you know, gets close to reaching them. Price drop from supply on a monthly time frame hits demand. Rallies up to supply, drops to demand. Rallies from demand. Okay, so supply and demand, institutional supply and demand is what dictates price. You know, you could read the news and they can explain to you why it's rallying right now. You know, I wouldn't pay too much attention to what they say. I'd be paying more attention to locating the supply and demand on the charts, looking at the CFTC data, because that will tell you everything you need to know about price. Okay, and when you keep things that simple, your trading is going to be a lot easier. Locating trades is going to be easier. Managing your emotions is going to be easier because you're going to have a better understanding of what's really taking place. So this weekly supply area, if it gets taken out, you know, it could spell disastrous for the yen because it looks like it will go higher. Okay, and the yen will be getting weaker. So that looks like it's a big possibility. All right. Last I will do for you is Bitcoin before I make it. I'll continue doing some analysis and show some of the portfolio positions, and that will be for the members only video. But one thing I talk about here at the school is knowing what time frame to be looking at. You know, we look at multiple time frames. The keys time frames that we're looking at are 12-month, 6-month, monthly, weekly, the daily, and the 4-hour. They each have their own role to play in the analysis that we do. But one of the most important things when doing analysis is to know what time frame is in play. And when I say what time frame is in play, what do I mean by that? What do I mean is that when you look at each time frame, you can see that there's a certain thing that's taking place. Either a trend is being created or it's ranging. There's always something taking place. And if you understand how it relates to the other time frames, you'll know what role it's playing in what is being facilitated or what it's facilitating in the other time frames. But the important thing is to understand what is the main time frame that is in play. And so when I do analysis on the charts, it's to me becoming very apparent that it's the monthly time frame that is in play right now. And so what do I mean by that? I mean it is the monthly time frame that the structure that's being created is the one that we need to be focusing on. So I'm looking at price structure and I'm looking at the fact that, you know, this price structure is being created. Okay, it's being manufactured. These structures are being manufactured. And so when I see what's going on here, and I'm looking at the positioning of the candles and the structure and the lengths of the candles, I'm seeing that we are at this upper level here, 110s, are reaching a point where the likelihood of a drop becomes very, very high. Okay. Now, could price just pause here and then they take it higher? Sure. But that would mean new buying would have to come into play. And I can't predict if new buying is going to just come out of nowhere. What I can forecast is what I see. I can use my analysis skills to be able to determine what time frame is in play. And I can look at the structure and I can determine what the upside potential on the chart is. And based on that, I can also you know, have a better understanding of what is likely going to happen um, when price hits these areas. So 110 for me is the upper portion of the upper ceiling, I guess I could say, of Bitcoin, at least from what I'm seeing. Then I expect some kind of a pause here. So on the lower time frame, we're going to be getting some ranging, and then we'll have some zones that we'll be watching to see what takes place. Demand breaks, then we are expecting a move down. I don't see any reason why this couldn't drop back to the 60K area. And if it does get down there, I would be a buyer of Bitcoin down there. I won't actually be buying Bitcoin. I'll be trading the futures chart. But yeah, that's something to pay attention to. Okay, because I know a lot of you guys do trade Bitcoin. Okay, just something to be aware of, and something to keep on your watch list. Okay, as it gets to this area, we're almost there. I think maybe a little bit more upside potential. Maybe not. It could just start pausing in this area. Okay. But that is it, my friends. I will leave you with that. I think that's enough. I think you're good to go. I think you have a better understanding of what's going on in these markets than before this morning. At least I would hope so. And if you enjoyed the session, please leave a like and help us spread the word by sharing the video if you can. And so I'm going to continue recording, and it's going to be a members only video, which I'll be posting in the school forum. I'll be looking at the S&P 500 and all the other indexes and take a look at what took place with those charts, because it's some interesting stuff. Some very interesting stuff. All right. Good stuff. You guys take care. Thanks for joining me this morning, and we'll see you next time. Have a good one, everybody.